Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Today is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. My morning is going fantastic. You know why? Went to bed, got some sleep, and got to wake up today. I got to wake up and have another chance at a life and a day to make an impact in this world. So I'm up here today and I thought, what am I gonna film today? One part of being and doing YouTube full time is like people plan out their videos, and I know people like do like certain set ones, and like when I started YouTube, like my videos were a glimpse into my entire day, and I would just throw random things in there if I wanted to talk about them. And so people like would just get on me like, no, you need to have a separate channel for your God. You should have a channel for your cleaning. You should have just focus on food. Don't do everything. You should just do one thing. And I thought, but that's not reality. Like, that's not reality. And so I'd watch other channels and see, you know, moms and ladies, and they would just, it's a 15-minute video. And I thought, that's like just a couple hours of their day. I'm like, that's not the entire day. And that's not like reality. And there are people that do reality ones, and you see my door, you see real life and things like that. And so when I started my channel, I thought, like myself, I always wanted, when I was stay-at-home mom, I still am stay-at-home mom, but when I was at-home mom with a bunch of little kids, like there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't all these things, and all I could think of was, I just want a glimpse into the life of somebody that's doing the same thing as I am. So I would get like homemaker magazines, and they had these, and real ones. They would have ones like I would get Mennonite ones, and they were like, I can't remember what the names were, Keepers at Home maybe, I don't even know, but this is way back in the day. And then they would just write encouraging articles by other moms and they were like, some moms would write in and give like real life, like what they were doing, and you know, nursing babies, taking care of toddlers, and the food, and then it had recipes and just stuff that like pertained to my life. And I'm like, and I so look forward to getting those magazines, because it was like, oh wow, I get to like have an interaction with like other moms, and it was through like a paper magazine. So anyways, fast forward to, you know, 2022, and you get to see people's real life and just how much better that is. I mean, it was great back then, because when you only have like whatever you got, you use, right? You get a little encouragement from a magazine, and I would get homemaking books again, which was very hard to find. So I would get homemaking books and read like real life homemaker books, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And that just encouraged me. That encouraged me as a mom who stayed at home. And so anyways, when I started doing YouTube, I'm like, I want to be able to share all of my life, most all of my life. I don't show every aspect of life, but most of my life, to show you that this is real life. This is what it really looks like. Some days you have a lot of things going on. Some days you have nothing going on. Some days it's very chill and relaxed. Sometimes it's crazy and harried. It's just, this is really real life. So with that said, today is one of those days, and then again, I don't film like everything I do, because I like to respect people's privacy and places that we're going, things like that. So I don't usually film. I might say, okay, we're here, and then see you afterwards. So today's one of those days. We're gonna go help a friend out, and so I'm gonna be gone for a little part of the day today. And so I'm thinking, what am I gonna film today? So I don't need like any food. We are still like, I don't even know how we get into these scenarios, but we just have too much food. We either have too much or too less. So the refrigerator is looking good. Like, I still have salads, so I'm gonna focus on eating my salads and chicken today. There's a lot of veggies still. We're getting down there. Those are like the leftovers, some of the HelloFresh dinners. And then I still have the fresh vegetables. What do we got in here? Still have some HelloFresh dinners, and I gotta eat up. But I have my shepherd's pie down there. So, you know what we're eating tonight for dinner? Shepherd's pie. We didn't even eat that this weekend at all. So, let me put you down. So that is gonna be dinner tonight. Breakfast is easy, and I have cut up fruit. Lunch is gonna be either leftovers or sandwiches, because I'm not gonna make anything else. So I know my channel's a lot about food, and so I like to share food because I love cooking. That's part of my life. I love making food, but it's kind of pointless to make food when there's already plenty in there. So there's gonna be no food in today's video. So I thought, all right, what else can I do today? But I get questions. What I do when I get comments from people, I go through and read all your comments. I read all your comments. I usually always heart them. YouTube, my YouTube app, something lately, which would be a week later. So you're gonna see this and be like, oh, you're responding to comments, but it was like a week ago, because that's how I post my videos. Like, the app is like stuck. I reinstalled it, deleted it, all that, and it's just not like something's wrong with it, but it'll get better. They always fix it because a lot of people complain. So I've not seen every comment. I'll respond to comments and I'm like, where did that comment go? That's really weird. So anyways, but when I get comments and I get questions, I usually screenshot them and keep them on my phone. I don't always answer them right then. Sometimes I can't, but then usually I'll like take a day and I'll go through my screenshots because I don't like a lot of stuff in my phone. If you look at my phone and my screenshots and my pictures, there's not a whole lot. Like my screenshots are just like 4 right there, and then my camera is random pictures on there. There's not a whole lot of stuff on your phone because I don't keep a lot of stuff on my phone. So I'll go through and go, oh, somebody asked me a question. So today I thought, why don't I go through and answer some of those questions? And they're very random questions and not enough, I don't think, to do an entire video because I've done that before, but I thought I really don't want to take like, I guess I could. There's questions on my pressure cooker, Instapot. There's pressures on pressures. There's questions on budgeting. There's questions on what gather your fragments means, and there's questions on why we homeschool. So I thought instead of doing an entire Q&A or I guess I could just, that's what this is basically, but not instead of doing like an entire video dedicated to homeschooling, because I've done that, but I know people just watch and have been watching, they're newer. So I thought I'm gonna answer those 4 questions today. So another thing, I thought, why don't I ask if you guys have any more questions? I pretty much share everything, so I don't feel like there'll be too many questions because I've been on for a while and you pretty much can find videos about me on here. But if you have any new questions, put them below in the description and I will screenshot them, and then in a future video share different things as I can. So I thought I would start right now. Arlene Silvernail, I feel like she's asked me this before. A lot of people have asked me to show more in depth on how to use my Instapot. I don't have Instapot, I have a pressure cooker, because it seems overwhelming to use, and I get that. And so I'll use it and share it like in my cooking videos, but I thought, why don't I just show a little glimpse of using it today? So I'm not gonna actually put any food in it. I'll put some water in there, but I will still show how it works. So Arlene, this is for you. So what's gonna be the best way to do? Let me bring my camera around here and you can see the Instapot with me. All right, I'm gonna stand right here. And then for those of you that are very observant, because some of you guys are really good at noticing things that I don't even notice. I talk to people like friends that I run into and they're like, oh yeah, I saw this and this on your channel, and I'm like, I know. I said it's kind of creepy when like people know more about myself than I know about myself. So one thing is, if you notice, you probably are like, Amy, you had the same outfit on yesterday. No, I did not. I had a navy blue one on and today it's black. And the same earrings. So what I have found, let me give you a little tip, ladies, is when you find something, especially when you get older, when you're young, you can buy like outfits after outfits. You don't really care about comfort. You don't really care about whatever. It's about your style, right? And you want to look good and wear the coolest things. I get that. Been there, done that. But as I got older, I have found that when I find something, I like it, I will go and buy multiple colors and designs of that same outfit. It just works. So these ones right here, we got these at Belk. We had them at Belk. I bought one, I think. They were like half price, $18 or something like that. I think it was the blue one that I was wearing yesterday. And then Greg and I went shopping later on. It was later on in the winter to a bigger Belk, and they had all these dresses for $10. So I picked up every single one of them. So I have a blue one, I have this one, I have a green one. As well, like an olive green. And then I got ones that were solid color. I don't love the solid color as much because it shows more like, you can see, it just shows more like a solid color t-shirt, you know how it shows more of your forms and, you know, any kind of indentations. And do you have indentations? I have indentations of your body. So I don't wear those as much unless I wear it like a sweater, but these I love. Patterns hide a whole lot. Just a little tip for you as you get older. So anyway, so I like this. So I haven't worn this one yet. It still had the tags on it, and I'm like, I need to wear it. I don't usually wear black, but I have black. So, and same earrings because they match. So anyways, it's just a different outfit, different colors. So people will be like, wait a minute, I need to go back and look. Blue to black. So anyways, okay, so let's get on to the pressure cooker. So Arlene, you asked me about mine. She said Instapot, but I have a pressure cooker, same thing, just a different brand. So your control panel will look similar, but just have different things on it. So that's what you're gonna pay attention to. So, all right, so pressure cooker. So this is the one I have, Kasori. Okay, so pressure cookers, I keep answering my phone. This is Kasori. I don't even think Kasori is around. I believe that they were bought out and somebody else uses them. I think so, because when I went to buy a new gasket for mine, I was trying to find it, I couldn't find it, and people said that they changed, whatever, I don't know. But anyways, they're all the same. Like people, I know when people ask, if you're not getting like an American made product and you're buying something from another country, overseas, pretty much they're roughly the same. So I always say read the reviews and then check, because I know I've had multiple things from just different, and they just have different name brands, but they're the same product. So reading the reviews, that helps. And I do get, like, we've had many, like the robot vacuums especially, we've gotten many over the years, and I can tell there are some cheaper ones and there are some ones that are better. So always read your reviews. Go to Amazon and read your reviews. Majority, if they're real people, I mean, you have people that get paid to leave them too, but majority of the things are going to be from people that are like real life. So read through those and trust those on there. And then always get the returns. When you buy some on Amazon, always get the free return option, because then if it doesn't have free returns, be so sure you are set on buying it. So there's only been, I think there's been one time that I bought something and I was like, it didn't have free returns, and I was like, ah. And now I'm like, all right, I wish I would have had free returns, but that's okay. It's okay, you just live and learn. So that's my little tidbit of advice about Amazon shopping. So anyways, let's go to the pressure cooker. Plug it in right now. Probably zoom you in a little bit here. Is that gonna help? All right, so it's blinking on here. So here is your pressure cooker. You have plenty of different, I just feel weird, I feel like that's gonna be very zoomy. You have plenty of different options on here. It depends on what you wanna do. So let's just say that you want to, you can use this for so many things. Let's just say you wanna boil some water. Let me get my water. Water right here, pour this in. You always wanna make sure there's water in here. So no matter what you put in here, put water in here. So if you're gonna cook eggs, like hard-boiled eggs, or you're gonna like steam some potatoes or some vegetables, always have water. And I think it's, the minimal is it 2 cups? 2 cups, I would say 2 cups. I always put 2 cups in there. You don't wanna run out of water, because then it makes it dry, and that's when it can explode. And then when it explodes, it's still not the end of the day. I've had mine explode. It's not the end of the day. I haven't had it burst, but I've had it explode. So don't be afraid of those things. So all you do, like, you can have different lids. This is just a regular pot lid. And so if I just wanted to boil water, I can come down here and find like let's do pasta boil. You just click it, it comes on, and just push start. Now, you can also, it probably would say, put the real lid on. This one that seals, and you can do that too, and it will bring it to a boil, but just keep this lid on it. It'll boil, and let it boil, and then you'll be able to cook pasta in it, and then just take this off. I will sometimes use this. Mine is used, I think Instapot is the same way, as a slow, Maxine, hey. She's like, Mommy, she's having her bone over there. You can use this as a slow cooker as well, and like a bunch of different things. So anyways, do that. It'll do this thing. What it's gonna do, it's gonna keep doing you're gonna see it boil. That's what it's gonna do in here. You can also do, like, don't even worry about this. Like, it's meant to like get hot, and then it'll beep when it's boiling. So you're good with that. Another option you can do is like cook it like a frying pan, like where you're sauteing things. So instead of getting on your stove, let's say you're making like, you need to saute some onions and butter. You don't have to worry about the water. Put some onions and butter in there. Onions and butter or oil, whatever, and do saute brown. It gets really hot really fast, so just stir it around and cook that. Then, let's say it's a casserole, you can throw other things in there, and then you can just turn around and do like the slow cook option, and that would be like your slow cooker. So like a real low setting of your a slow cooker, a crock pot, right? Isn't that what it's called? Crock pot, slow cooker? Yeah. So that's an option on there. You can also do where it bakes it in here. I'm trying to think what else we got in here. Reheat, where it heats it up slowly. I also do this, and then there's a keep warm up here too. So there's different settings for making different things. Like there is yogurt. I've only made yogurt in it once before, and we didn't love it, but people do. And basically what I would do is Google a recipe, put it in there, and just push the yogurt one. You're not gonna use this lid, it's gonna be the pressure cooker lid. This is just for using this like you would on your stove, or using it and frying it over there. That's what I use this lid for. The potatoes is great because you put like a basket in there. I have like a rice steamer basket somebody gave me, and it fits right inside here. They also have a stand that comes with it, but it's up really high, so I don't like that one. And I thought, can I keep it that low? The basket goes right to the bottom. It's just a little bit off. That works. People have told me they put tin foil crumbled up in the bottom and put their potatoes on there, and then put the water so it just goes right below. That works too. Again, don't use this lid. Use the real lid, because you want to steam them. And all you do is push the steam button. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I don't even know what multi-grain is. Probably some kind of grains. I don't even know. Brown rice and white rice. White rice cooks faster than brown. Don't be afraid if you use brown rice button. It's quick rice. That's probably one of our favorite options on here, because it cooks rice really quick, and I'll show you how to do that. Meat stew, poultry, chicken. When I'm doing chicken, it basically, like your meat, your stew, these just do it at a higher setting. So sometimes when I'm doing a bunch of chicken in here, I'll put it in here and I'll fill it to the brim, way too full, and I'll do the poultry setting, let it cook, and then I have to come back and do it again. Sometimes I have to do it a few times. Whatever works. Soup right here, it just boils. Beans and chili, that's the one I use for my egg settings. And I don't have to, I could just do a manual setting on top, as long as you knew how long to do it for, which I think it's 5 minutes for that. So that's all those buttons up here. You can do, I had delay start, I've never even done that. Cook time you can type in, you can adjust the pressure, temperature, and you can also, I always do a keep warm. Sometimes I'll cook macaroni and cheese in here, and instead of keeping it on slow cook, because it continues to cook, it's too much, so it'll, like, you know, burn. So I do the keep warm. It keeps it warm in here, so, and it does a really good job. All right, I'm gonna take this one off. So basically this is gonna keep spinning until it gets hot. So when you, let's say you're gonna do chicken and you wanna make it really nice and like tender, things like that, or you wanna do eggs in here, whatever you wanna put in, anything. You can put cooked pasta in here, and you can put all the stuff and make like a casserole and just push slow cook and let it heat up, or do the bake button. It's going to be time based on, you might have to check it a few times, so just be aware of those things. But let's say you put some raw chicken in here and you're going to cook some raw chicken, because that's delicious. Put some spices in there when you're doing it. Your meat, it makes it super tender, fall apart. You're going to put your lid on. Now this has a gasket right here. Your gasket is the important part. You want to make sure it's clean. Like the first time I used it, I was like freaked out, it's gonna explode on me. And it has exploded on me. Not exploded like burst, but like steam, the steam vent got stuck because this was moved. Don't be afraid, it's okay. You just gotta have quick, unplug it, release the steam pressure. You're good to go. Or you don't even have to unplug it, just release the steam pressure. So make sure that your gasket is where it should be, and then make sure your little button is pushed down. Sometimes this gets stuck, that happens a lot. Sometimes I just turn this around, make sure it moves a little bit, just to make sure it's not stuck in there. When I find that this gets loose and doesn't hold the steam, which you can hear it, I bought another one. So I think I used mine for a year. I have 2 of them. I've replaced the gasket on one. So if that makes any difference. So when you put it on, it's gonna make a noise. There you go. And then on the top, right here, is your little steam vent right here. So this, there's a lock and an unlock. You want to turn it so it's on the lock right here. If you have it on the unlock, when you turn this on, all it's going to do is emit steam from here. And then you're going to go, oh, and you can literally go like this and put it right on there. And that's fine. So this, let's just do, I'm going to do beans chili because it's short. It puts it on normal. You can adjust this right here. I can do a high, look, it's 30 minutes or 5 minutes, it's slow. You could do beans chili and do chicken and turn it on high. If you just had a few pieces, I think chicken is 45 minutes, let me see. Poultry, oh, 25 minutes, I was wrong. It's the same, it's not really a poultry setting or a beans. It's like your microwave where you push it and it's steamed vegetables, and push it and it's something else. It's just, it's right here. It's your low, your medium, and your normal, and your high. So your meats you want to cook on high because you want to get them nice and tender. Normal is just a regular whatever, and slow is if you don't want to burn anything. So slow is not going to do very much for like chicken and stuff because it's going to still be raw. So all you do, I'm going to just adjust mine down to 5 minutes. So it's only a few, and then I'm going to change, can I change the temperature? Let me do cook time. Let me go down. Let's just do 2 minutes because then for time's sake of the video, it's not here forever. So that's it. So all you do, push start. So what this is going to do, it's going to heat up and pressurize inside here. So I'll show you, make sure my lid's on. Now if you forgot to, let's say you did the lid thing and then like you started noticing steam coming out of it, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's okay. All you have to do is release the steam vent back here, and be careful, touch behind it because steam does come out and it can burn your hand. I've done that before. Stick a towel on it, use a hot pad, and just fling that. This will let out the pressure of this. If this is gonna explode, it's because there's no way for the steam to escape. But, and those were like back in the day, the old ones. Remember the ones on the stove that rattled? I had one of those. These are much, much safer, much better. So what'll happen is the steam will just leak out the sides. And then if it's really stuck, it'll make like a high-pitched squeak noise. And then you're like, oh gosh, what am I doing wrong? But for the most part, the steam escapes. So if you just, even if you didn't shut it off, just release that steam pressure, boom, that'll all shoot out. And then you can shut it off. And then just let it, it'll release the steam. and you'll be good. Just be careful putting it under your cupboards. I've done that where it steams up and, you know, steams your kitchen counter cupboards. It doesn't ruin, I mean, over time it'll ruin your paint, but for the most part, don't do that. Put it in the open is better. So I'm gonna let this pressurize here, and then I'll be back and tell you some more. Okay, a little update. It takes about 5 minutes for it to pressurize. So as you can hear it, it's heating up in there. That means my water's boiling. It's getting, the pressure is getting built up. So I should have timed it. I didn't time it. It's only, I think it's about 5. Oh, here it goes. Okay, listen. All right, so look it right away. See that wanting to go out? Let's see. My thing might need to be reset here. I'll let you know in a minute. I have to fast forward this part. Okay, so my steam is escaping. That means I have something wrong. Let me show you how to fix it. So look at, if I just lift this, the steam comes out. So what I do, I just take the lid up for a minute and move the seal so it's unlocked. Set it and then put it, look at, there it is. And it's just because mine is older. So look at how that's set on there. The red button on the top, can you see up here? The red button right here popped up. That means the seal. If I go like this at any time, it releases the steam. So as you could see, mine was on and the steam was leaking, and I checked my thing and did everything, but it's just not brand new. It's a little bit worn. So all I had to do was just move it to the unlock thing and then just twisted it open. The reason why you do this, because it releases the pressure. Twist it open, I just twisted it again. Maybe it wasn't shut right. And then move that over there. And now it's on the lock position, it can pressurize. So it's gonna get boiling here, move to a pressurized setting, and then it's gonna sit there for 2 minutes is what I told it. And then it will release and let it down. So you can hear it. I'll come back in a minute and do an update. Okay, mine just beeped, so look at, that means it's at the pressurized setting. You can hear it. It even sounds like it's leaking a little bit, but I don't hear see any steam coming out. So again, just if it's older and worn, it's gonna do it. If it's brand new, you're gonna be fine. Like I didn't have any issues until I used mine over and over and over again. Probably just need another gasket, but it works. You can tell like if your gasket's going bad because it like will continually have that issue where it's leaking on there, and just get a new one, no big deal. So this is good, it's pressurizing. So whatever time this is set at, if it's your chicken, it's on, what was it, 25 minutes, or if it's hard-boiled eggs or steaming potatoes, whatever you have in there, it'll have your time, and then this will count down. I should have done. Can I change the time after? No, you can't. Just let it do its thing on there, let it do its countdown, and you're good to go. Let's say right now, I've been cooking, I think it was beans. I put way too many beans in there because, you know, I usually always overstuff, and water, and then like it was just way too full. And so, you know, lesson learned. So like right now it would just like automatically start shooting out the back, the steam right here. That's what it does. And sometimes if you have a lot of water, which I did, water will come out of here. So all you do is take your hot pad right here. Again, just turn this, see, look at it. See how I do that? That's just releasing the pressure inside. That's all it's doing in there. Just don't, you know, touch it with your fingers. Make sure that you're careful using hot pad. But you see how mine, like I just messed with it, so it's gonna be a little bit off. It's gotta like repressurize. So it's just letting a little bit of out. But as long as this stays at a good contented pressure, this number will be fine. If it's letting it out, it's not gonna continue its little, it's what it's been set to do. So this will be good. In a minute it will shut off, and then all it does is you can do a slow release. Like you can you still hear that? Because I messed with it, so it's a little bit leaking. It's okay though. Okay, now it shows it's done. So this, if the keep warm stays on and it stays warm, you could leave it like this and it will continue to cook and do its thing. You know, like when you cook things in a slow cooker, you cook things in a microwave, you keep the door shut, it still continues to cook even afterwards. Same thing with the pressure cooker. So you can do a quick release or you can do a slow release. The slow release, you just wait for it to depressurize by itself. That's all that means. If you want to do a quick one, all you do is flick this back here, which I'm going to do, and then you just wait for it to stop. All right, as you can hear, it's getting less and less on the steam. You won't be able to open this until the pressure is less. It won't let you just open this because it will explode. You can force, I mean, I guess if you forced it off, it would do it, but it automatically locks so that you can't when it's at a super high. Otherwise, you can explode. So look at that. It's going down. I probably could open it now. No, I can't. Oh yeah, I can. It'll be really hard if it's too pressurized. So don't force this unless the pressure's out. Otherwise, that's when it can explode on you. So don't open until it's a lot easier to open. This comes out here. See if I turn the lid. Boom. There it is. My water is boiling away in there. So pressure cooker. I'm trying to get anything else on here, but you're good to go. Try anything in it. Like, people, what's your favorite recipes? Like, anything. You can cook, you can use this, like you can cook on a pot on the stove. You can boil pasta in it. You can cook your meat in it. You can do, what else is in there? Steam all your vegetables in it. Rice, I cook rice mostly in here. We do our eggs in here just because it's easier. I don't cook a lot of my dishes in here because I do like to cook on my stove, but you can. That's the key on this. So, all right, Arlene, I hope that answers your question on how to use your Instapot. You need to do it. You need to try it because it is life-changing. But just use those safety things, like I said. Watch the little gauge on top. Just make sure that the top, whatever that thing's, the pressure thing on the back here, is in the lock position. If it's gonna fail, it's just gonna steam. So you don't have to worry about anything else. And then you just readjust it like I did, and you're good to go. So, all right, let me clear my mess. We'll talk something else. All right, so the next question comes from, I think it's Kelly Conlon. She asked, why did we choose to homeschool? Was it out of fear of other people teaching your child, or was it out of fear from sending your kids to school? So, Kelly, I'm gonna answer your question right now. So we started homeschooling. We weren't even Christians at all, just had kids and loved having kids and loved the whole family aspect. And so when my oldest daughter she went to school, kindergarten, first grade, and had great experiences, wonderful teachers, loved it. I was like helping room mom and all those things. And then it got to be where I knew, like, the next year my child was going to be going to preschool, the next one. And then I'm like, and then I'm still going to have a baby. So all I could think about was, all right, I'm going to take one in the morning, pick one up a little bit earlier from preschool, and then pick up another one from the next grade. And then I'm still going to have a baby. And like how crazy that was going to be. And then my husband was working nights at the time, and I thought he had to leave like at whatever time it was, 3 in the afternoon or something. That was considered nights. Maybe it's all night schedule, wherever it was, but he had to drive a while away. And so I thought, in my head, I thought, he's never going to see the kids either because of the way the schedule was. So all these things were kind of going into play. And then and I loved being mom, stay-at-home mom, loved teaching my kids. My oldest loved learning. She was like a book learner. She still is a book learner. She's got her master's degree. Very, very smart. She just loves that kind of learning. And so when she was going to school, she started going to second grade, and then something instant had happened in school, and she had left early because we had a doctor appointment. And the way that they dealt with things, I just didn't think it was very fair. I was one of those moms that, sometimes people say let your kids experience pain and go through things, and for myself I was like, no, that's just not right at all. So the way that they dealt with something, I definitely knew it was not a good situation. So pulled her from school. It was the young mom, like, just do it. And so young mom without any experience and wisdom. And so I did. And then we just stayed at home. And I had another friend that homeschooled her daughter. So I kind of talked to her, and I was like, all right, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't even know any of these things. And she told me, she said, you know what? She goes, just get used to being at home with her. And I'm like, what? And she's like, don't do anything. Just enjoy it. Because, like, I brought her home, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do school. We're going to get books. And at the time it was, I didn't really, like, there wasn't like all the big curriculum things, and there probably was, I just didn't know where it was. So we would just get little workbooks from our local Walmart or whatever, and I'm like, we'll just do these for the day. And then so I was like, we got to work all day long, and I'm like, gosh, we're going to be here all day long if we have to sit for 6 hours a day like they do at school. And so it was just got a little frustrating. And so then I realized that after a while, my girlfriend said, just enjoy being home, play. And I was like, what? Just play? So, and now that I've been in this homeschool world for a long time now, I've realized that you have to basically de-school your child, especially if they went to school. You have to de-school them from how school should be, because school is set up a certain way, because there's a lot of kids. You have to stay in a structure, you have to stay in a time, you have to complete so many whatevers for their quota. But when you at home, it's like a different game. You can school whenever. You can do things. You're learning just real life. So de-school, look it up. De-school your child. So sometimes you have to do that. I noticed it because I noticed when she went to school, the kids get that little kids get that little mouthiness in them. They do, because they're around their kids. That's who they're hanging out with all the time. So the weekends would come and it would take like a few days for her to get out of that. I'm like, why? And then we'd have like spring break and big long breaks, and then it would go, and then she'd be home, and it was like such an enjoyable time. Then boom, back to school, same kind of attitude, just because of, you know, school and what you're around all day long. So it took some deschooling on that aspect, but enjoyed being home. And she was easy because she loved to do the book work. She loved, like, if I got a textbook, she wanted to do everything there was to do and answer every single question. She's just a natural born learner. She's super smart that way. That's how she liked doing it. So then she's gone on, she's gotten her master's, and she's doing really good. So she likes that aspect. Then I have my next couple children did not want to learn that way. So I got into like, wow, there's like a whole different learning thing. Like, it doesn't work the same for every child. You can't school one child and do the same for the rest. So we learned a whole lot about the world of unschooling after that. So anyways, I have other videos that talk about how we school and stuff like that, but did we do it out of fear? No, we did it out of convenience. That's how we started homeschooling. So, and now over the years, I'm glad we did, because we have had so many changes in our life and so many like moves here, and the way my husband's job was working, it was never like a consistent, like we didn't know what we were going to be doing sometimes. And so being everybody together definitely helped, having that peacefulness of togetherness that way. So we just did it that way. Now it's just like, now as they get older, I'm like, okay, I realize I have kids that learn differently, and some that would not thrive in a school setting. And so being able to teach them the way that they learn, way, way better. So Kelly, I hope that answers your question on why we chose to homeschool our kids. All right, so came to my living room here. You know, see the yellow light versus the white light? You're gonna get the variety. And then we also have mixing. She's sleeping. She's like looked at me like, what are you doing? She's my sleepy dog. Thankful for her. She's not like this sort of dog is usually the wild, crazy, rambunctious one. Not my Maxine. She's the perfect lazy, sleepy dog. Love it. Not lazy, sleepy dog. So, all right, my next question comes from, it's 10,000 days of something, and I can't remember what it says, but when I screenshotted it, it kind of cut off the rest of her name, but I do see her on there. And she said, remind me of the biblical basis for gather your fragments. So when I started my channel, I did a lot of food. And so that was just something, because food was life, and I enjoyed making food, and that's what helped move my channel forward, was the ability to make a bunch of freezer meals and a bunch of preparing a lot of food, because we had a lot of people to feed. Still have a lot of people to feed, but it's just not as much anymore. So I started thinking about like how I was going to do my channel, all these things. And so I really thought about a lot in life, and I talked about gathering your fragments. Like, you can gather your fragments in life with a whole lot of things. And so, and it kind of went with the scripture. And I remember reading a sermon one time, and I say it's in John 6:12. And this is after he was feeding the 5,000 people with the loaves and fishes, and it says, loaves and fish, and it says, when they had eaten enough, he said to his disciples, gather up the leftover pieces. It does say fragments in a different version, so that nothing will be lost. And then when they had gathered, they filled 12 large baskets with pieces from the 5 barley loaves which were left over by those who had eaten. So when the people saw the sign that he had done, they began saying, this is without a doubt the promised prophet who has come into the world. So the whole biblical basis is about gathering up so that nothing will be lost. Things in your life. If you think about, let's just say you want to like get something, forget the food aspect, like something in your household. Like, I know for myself, if there was something I wanted to purchase back in the day and get things, instead of going, how am I going to get more money? How am I going to do more things? When you gather up the things you have in your home, sometimes you have things like sitting in a basement, sitting in a garage, you know, different clothing, different things that you don't need anymore. If you gather them up and bring them together, sell them. Get rid of them, sell them, donate, whatever you want to do. You can donate too, because I do believe in seed sowing, those kind of things. But you probably have enough stuff in your home that you don't use, that you can make a little bit of money on, to gather up to be able to purchase something else. So the same thing with, like, I always thought that for, like, we had a lot of homeschooling things and things that we didn't use. And then I was like, oh, I really want to get something. And so whatever it was. And so I thought, well, if I could sell off the things that I didn't have or didn't use, and then I'd have that enough money to go purchase the things that I wanted. And so we did a lot of that back in the day. And then also food-wise, gathering up your fragments. For the most part, I remember being a young mom and listening to other moms, and they would like run to the grocery store like every day practically. And I'm like, how do you go to the grocery store every day? And they're like, well, I forget things, I do these things. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't even have that luxury. Like, I go once a month or once every 2 weeks, whatever it was. And so I realized that people don't do that, and they do a bunch of gathering because they feel like they have to have certain things to make your recipes work. So I really learned to like gather things and put them together. So that's where Gather Your Fragment Friday comes from. Sometimes I have set meals because I go shopping and I buy those things and we already have them. But for most of the time, like through the month, I'm just normal like everybody else. I'm kind of gathering up, trying to find dinners based on what I have, so that none will be lost, because that's why people have freezer pantry challenges, because they like forget about those things in their pantry and their freezer and they throw them away. Awful lot of food is wasted in the world. Yes, I know these things. And so, but for me, we like gather those up and use them. And if I'm not going to use them, throw them in the freezer, and then I'll gather them up and use them a different time. So that's where the whole basis of Gather Your Fragments came from. And it's from John 6:12. It's about gathering so that nothing would be lost. And it can be gathering food. It can be gathering things in your home to get rid of and sell. It could be gathering up those fragments of time in your family to be able to put it together and have a good time with your family. All those, so many different aspects and avenues of your home and your life, you can gather them up. Or you just think, oh, I just need new, or oh, I just need to go to the grocery store because I have nothing to eat. No, more than likely you have something to eat. There's been many times, like now we keep our freezers and pantries, pretty full. They get empty and you see them. But back in the day when we were like living paycheck to paycheck, I didn't have a lot of stock reserve of things. I just couldn't. And so even when I got down to like, I felt like nothing, there was still something there. There was still something there to make still food in your belly. And I always say that. I'm like, there's been times that we've gone through where we didn't have a lot of like set meals or things that we really wanted. But you know what? We ate all week. Nobody had a starving belly. We got through it until the next paycheck. And so putting on that mindset of like, what can you gather? What can you get before you go out and purchase things? So do that in your life. When you go food, that's why when I sit and do my grocery list, I'll sit. Sometimes I start out fresh and just get everything and kind of stack up. But if I didn't, I usually look through my freezers and my pantry and go, all right, I have a lot of pasta, or I have a lot of rice, or I have a lot of chicken or whatever. I can make some dishes with that. So gathering those pieces up. And so I know for me, that's what I'll do in my freezer. Like, we don't have freezer cleanouts because we use everything in there. There is like a rarity of a time that I ever throw anything away, because we use it for something, for some recipe eventually in the freezer. So that's good. So same thing in your life. You got a lot of like extra school books, a lot of homeschooling material that you just don't need anymore. Give it away. Sow some seed into somebody else's life that could use it, but sell it on the marketplace or wherever people sell things nowadays. Sell it, make a little bit of money, sell it for cheap, and then don't worry about trying to make a profit just to get rid of it. Like I know we'd go to garage sales back in the day and people would always have these high prices on things, and I thought in my head, if you want to charge that much for something, you're not going to sell that much. So obviously they still want to take it back and put it all away in their garage or back in their attic. And I understand if you need to make money off certain things, but I know when we had garage sales, everything was a quarter, just take it all, fill a big bag for $5, because in my head I was like, I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. I'm trying to get rid of it. Why would I want to gather it back up and put it in my house? Like, I want to get rid of it, because most people will gather up the things after garage sale and take it to Goodwill and donate it. So if you put it at a cheap price and just anybody come and take what they want, so much better. Don't worry about like labeling everything and be like, I need $5 for this, that's expensive, or $4. No, because at the end of the day, you're going to take it and just donate it, or it's going to go back in your garage, back in your basement, and you're not going to do anything with it. So gather those fragments. That's my little tidbit of advice. If you got something a little bit more expensive, sell it on the marketplace. But if you do we can't do a garage sale here. Could do a garage sale in the mountains. I know people do, not where we live here, but just having just set it out and put 25 cents a piece or a whole bag for $5, and just bless others with an inexpensive way to get things. It'll get rid of it. It'll be less that you'll have to take care of, and then you're gathering up the price, trusting God with that. So, all right, hopefully 10,000 days up, and it was ... Hopefully that answers your question for the biblical basis of gathering your fragments. All right, another question I had was from, I think it's Ringsha. She asked about budgeting and how we budget. So For our family, like I am a numbers person. I understand most people are not. I love numbers. I feed on numbers. Tax time comes and I'm like, yes, numbers. I would be an accountant if I could. That's actually what I went to college for, but didn't pursue that because I chose to stay home and have kids and be home, stay-at-home mom. And so I thought if maybe one day I could go back and do that, I would love doing that because that's just something I thrive on. I love numbers. Love it. It's like one of those, what's that movie? One of those movies where they see all the numbers everywhere. It's like a pattern. That's how I see numbers. I just love it. As I get older and don't use it as much, I realize, wait a minute, I gotta think a little bit. But anyways, numbers are my favorite thing. So I don't mind. We are not, let me give a little backstory. When we started being married, those kind of things started out in the beginning. It was more of like living paycheck to paycheck because we just didn't really know what we were doing and just, spent money frivolously, did all those things, got in credit card debt, all those things. And then we had a stark reality change back in 2008 with the whole economy crashing. So we were in a bad situation. Thankfully, the Lord provided and we were able to come out of that. But it was definitely like a time for me to eye-opener of wake up, you need to be responsible. And you have to remember that finances are a two-way street, and sometimes that's hard when you're married, when one is a spender, one is a saver. So that can be a difficult, I think finances is one of the number one things people fight about in a marriage. So what I've learned over the years and what I've seen other people talk about, they say every married couple should have 4 accounts. One account is where you pay your bills from every single month. You know what comes out of your account. You know what you have to put in there. Your second account should be a savings account. That's the money you put into there, and you have to agree upon it mutually before you take anything out of there. And then the other 2 accounts are his account and her account. And that's the account that you can't question each other on what you spend. So you give yourself an allowance and you spend it however they want. And so that to me, very, very smart, because if you have one that's the budgeter that likes to keep control, and the other one's not, there's whatever, because that's what happens. Then the one spends and you're like, what are you doing? You're blowing our budget. You're doing things. So that is my recommendation to you. Have 4 accounts. The one that you pay the bills from, the one that you save in, even if it's very little, even if it's $5 a week, it's $5 a week that you're putting away that you're not allowed to touch. And then his account and her account. And that way you deposit, you're spending money in it, and they're able to spend it however they want. So finances is a huge thing. So for budgeting for our family, we get paid usually once a month. There's a couple payments in between there too. So because we both have home businesses, and so self-employed, that way we used to do paycheck to paycheck. I'll talk about that in a minute. So what I do is when I get my income, usually at the end of the month, is I will stop right then, add up everything I got. So I get everything directly deposited. Mostly that's how it works. And then I'll write down everything that I have, the total of that. And then I'll take and do my tithe and my offering off of that amount. So I'll take my percentage, and then right away I take that out right away. When I take and transfer it to my church. That's where I put in my tithe. That's where I do my offering. You can do a church, you can do a ministry, whatever God is leading you to do. That's where that goes for there. Then you have to have your separate accounts of your set income of your set bills. And so what your house payment is or your rent, your electricity for the most part. I know it fluctuates, but have a rough estimate. And most electric companies now, and I think gas will do this too, I'm pretty sure, they'll give you a budgeted, is that what they do at budgeting? What's it called? Budgeting amount, where they'll estimate how much your bill is every month, and then you just pay that just to help with your budgeting. So do that if it's too hard to, fluctuate in things. And then, so we just make a list. So that, we'll have our internet, we have our phones, and then we have how much we ration out for groceries and that. So for our family, I know that some people do $100 a month, and I've seen different YouTubers that say this is all we spend, but you have to remember those people also go out to eat dinner, and that's not included in it. And they also will have things they purchase a big giant cow and they put their meat in the freezer that way. So for myself, if you budget higher, $150 a person for everything. That for me includes extras that they need, if they needed extra clothing or a pair of shoes randomly through the year or through the month, or extra, your toiletries, your shampoo, that kind of stuff. So that is what I would budget high at, $150 per person. Just a higher round. If you want to go a little bit lower, $125, but I wouldn't go anything less than that. Don't try to be too frugal. You can, but things are going to come up and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I need money for that. So we always budgeted high, and then there's extra if you didn't spend it, but then I would just move that to like, all right, that's extra for clothing I'm going to put away. Or and you can do that. That's like when we were real set on the budget before. We have a little bit more freedom now as the kids get older and we have a little bit more income, but back in the day it was like, all right, this is my budget for groceries, whatever it was, $1,500. But if we only spent $1,200, we could spend $1,500 easily eating good and doing that. And that means all of our meals at home, we would not eat out. But if I went, okay, I need to get a couple extra school books this month, because we couldn't really put away a lot for savings because we were living paycheck to paycheck. So then I would just do a little bit less that month, and I'd hold that money aside and use it for school. And I might have to save for a few months to do that. So that's one way that we would do. You can budget per person, per family, and then it still is going to each person, because someone might need clothes, someone might need, you know, something for school that month. And then credit card debt. You don't want to have any credit card debt at all. You don't want to have any debt at all. But something you need kind of right away is like an emergency savings, because life does happen and it can happen really quick. And I think, what did I read once? That people are only like 2 paychecks away from being homeless. And I understand that, I get that. So having a little bit of a savings helps, and I know that's hard. That's where the gather your fragments part comes up, because if you gather up things, most people have a lot of extra stuff. They have a lot of stuff in their home. Most do. People are getting storage units. I thought myself back in the day when I started seeing storage units pop up, I'm like, oh, I could have been a millionaire or billionaire by setting those up, because people have so much stuff. They actually pay to store it because they don't even use it. So get yourself a little bit of emergency fund. I think it's $2,000. I think Dave Ramsey, I did do the course back in the day, but I, like, when I was going through it, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I would hold to anyways. So, but sell things off to get that savings. You can get that really quick usually. Usually you can get that really quick by selling things off, putting that money away right away, or taking a little bit from your grocery budget and putting that away a little bit. So that will be your savings. Put that away and don't touch it. That's your emergency savings for job loss, for whatever. That's what that's for. Get that, and then you're going to start paying off your credit card debt, because you don't want that, because that's just charging you a lot of interest. So try to get, pay off talk to your creditors, talk to them. If you can only send them $5, call them. Don't hide from them. Don't be afraid of them. Let them know you're going to pay your bills. The Bible talks a lot about the importance of, and it's about not being slave to the lender, but it also talks about being a person of your word and paying things off. So get those credit cards paid off. And there's plenty. You can Google how to do the snowball. I think it's called snowball pay down effect, and it's Dave Ramsey, of how to pay off. So if you have a lot, we didn't have a lot of that, so I didn't have to worry about that in our life. But paying that off, getting those things paid off. You got your tax money, pay. Don't go, oh yay, money for me. Get those paid off as quick as you can and stop spending. Cut them up. Put them away. Don't say, I need these for an emergency. No, because going to the grocery store, not having that extra $50, you're going to think it's an emergency. You just learn to live with less right now, especially when if you're going through a lot of debt and you're going through a lot of times, just know you have to struggle. It's like a repentance time. It's kind of like when you want to lose weight and you stop eating your snacks, you look at food and go, all right, I can have those Doritos another time, but right now I'm having repentance time, because I'm going to suffer because I ate way too many of these chips before. So the money thing is the same way. Don't think, oh, I got rewarded, I got some money, I'm going to spend it, I deserve it, I worked hard. No. Get those things paid off. Get those bills paid off so you don't have that looming over your head, because when everything crashes, when you're definitely going to be slave to the lender, getting rid of those things. So when you have no credit card debt, that's an amazing thing. If you got a car payment, you're going to work on paying that off as well. And then also learn to pay cash for things. I know when we were learning a lot of how to manage our bills, that kind of thing, we just learned to pay cash. If we didn't have the cash, we did without. If our washer broke and I didn't have it, guess what? We were washing dishes or washing laundry in the sink. Been there, done that. If dryer died, you know what? Instead of getting a dryer, you hung up laundry. And then I remember going, when we had the money for the dryer, Greg was like, do you want to get one? I'm like, you know what? It really is not that big of a deal to hang things up. So we didn't for a long time. You just get used to doing what you can do. So if you can do less on your heating bill, if your heating bill is high, turn the thermostat down just a degree, keep it down a little bit lower so that you can go, okay, I can live with a little bit less heat in your house. Shut some lights off. I got all my lights on my house because I film. That's part of my job. But shut the lights off on your house. It saves a whole lot. When you go shopping and you go out, don't go out every single day. Pick one day a week and do all of your running in that day to conserve your gas money that way. You know, if you've got extra, we didn't ever do a lot of extra things like in our family where it cost a lot of extra things. So we would never, like people always have, like now we have subscriptions to YouTube, Red, all those things, but get rid of those things. You don't need them. There's plenty of stuff you can watch. You watch YouTube with ads all day long. If you need to, get rid of all that extra frivolous stuff. Check your bank statements. There's plenty of times where you look at your bank and you're like, wait a minute, you have stuff coming out every single month as a subscription. Are you paying pay attention? Most people don't pay attention to what's coming out of their account. So being aware of those things, you know, if there's a charge that's wrong on your thing, call and find out what it is so you can refute it. Be kind. Most of the time they will make it right for things. So paying attention and being intentional. So that's just how we budget over the years. And then, you know, if you can't do a savings, you can't do a savings. But if you can put $5 away, put away $5. $5 over a year's time will give you a little bit of money in your account that you can use. I know, you know, it's like you do what you can do, you know, get that little bit of savings. And then if you've got that, then you want to be able to, I think the key is getting your little emergency savings fund, just emergency, like your couple thousand, just for whatever happens. If it can't be $2,500, I think it's 500, isn't it 500 the first one Dave Ramsey does? I don't even know, but get that in there. And up it a little bit more. I think they recommend having 3 to 6 months away, which is a great idea of savings. And sometimes some of you might be going, yeah, like that's even feasible, Amy. It is with diligence, and you have to be diligent. You have to be proactive on it. You have to say, okay, I'm not going to go eat out this week, even though I feel like it, because I want to take that money and put it away. Suffer for a little bit to get that saved up, and then you can go eat out all the time. Well, not all the time, but you know, within your budget. So make sure you just budget and get those things set. That's the huge thing, and you got to stick with it every month. If you know, all right, I spent all my money this month that I was going to spend on my frivolous spending, well then just wait until you can go back and get that next paycheck to put it into your fund to use it. The envelope method works great if you have a hard time. I've had a couple kids that didn't do like the way I think things through, so they did the envelope method. That works good too. So you would take your 4 paychecks and then they would add up how much they would get, and then they divide it out. So each week they would put it away into their little envelopes and be able to spend it that way. You can do that too. We would do our paychecks, like one went to all the utilities and bills, another one went to groceries, another one went to house payment, and the other one was car things and extra things. And that's just, and then like whatever we needed extra. That's how we budgeted out ours before. But now it's more of a once a month kind of thing, and like we figure out where everything goes that way. All right, Ring Shot, I hope I explained that. If you need any more explanation, let me know. Hopefully that gives you a little bit synopsis of budgeting. So I'm gonna go because my day is ending early for you guys, because we're gonna have a good day today out with my kids and stuff doing things. So you guys have a fantastic, I'm talking fantastic rest of your day. Remember, you are designed, created, and selected by God to do great things on this earth. And once you figure out that great thing, you just watch out. It's an amazing thing that He will do in your lives. It's an adventure and a wonderful one to be on. So, and then if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do another one of these videos of answering as many as I can. All right, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Okay, I'll see you. Bye.